Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving me your time today. My name is Andrew Schwab, and today I'm going to talk to you about the beautiful culture of Guam, which I learned from my interviewee, Titus Bogus, and how that impacted his life. The reason I chose Mr. Bogus was to learn more about the culture of Guam, as I think it's paramount for us to learn more about different cultures so that we have more variety on our perspective on life. Throughout my presentation, I'm excited to share with you some of Titus's experiences and what I gained from it. Titus is a devout Christian, saying, quote, "I'm a Christian saved by grace. I believe God is to be the only way, the truth into life. There's no other religion but that," end quote. As you can tell, Mr. Bogus is very grounded in his religion. However, 98% of Guam is Catholic, with Catholicism being the dominating religion in Guam. That's what brought Titus's father, who was a pastor, along with Titus and his siblings, to travel on missions to the island of Guam. Of course, this meant they were much different than the other kids. As Titus mentions, quote unquote, "The island is a melting pot of Asian and American cultures. This meant there were many differences, and this would even lead to fights among the other children. Howleys is what they called white people," Titus says. Titus also mentioned he and his siblings were the only blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids in his elementary school, Price Elementary. Despite these differences, Mr. Bogus made his way back to Guam in 2017, where he resided for 5 years before arriving back in the U.S. 10 months ago. While on his trip back, he worked at the Christian school and church and college in Harvest Ministries. While at Harvest Ministries, his job title was the IT assistant to the director. This would later help him in his career today. In his words, he was the, quote, "be-all, do-all," end quote, guy for anything IT related. This could range from servers, detrimental problems, to replacing the batteries in a clock. This is what kept the schools running, was the little tasks like this. Now, once he got back in the U.S., he took a position at Answers in Genesis as a systems engineer. Aiding him in acquiring his current position was the experience that he learned while managing servers, VMware, etc. that he got while working at Harvest Ministries in Guam. Working at Answers in Genesis has been a big part of his life, as he is a part of an organization that he aligns with. One way his current position has affected his personal life is him being on call 24/7. So for an example, that means that if a massive issue comes up at like 2 in the morning, he could get a call while he's sleeping that he has to now go and hop on his computer to go help them out with whatever issue that might be. While his former job in Guam is important, and his current position, neither of these will leave a bigger impact than the traditions and livelihood that being in Guam for 14 years provided him with. One example of this is Guam's Independence Day, July 21st. Titus and his family still celebrate this date. He mentions, quote, "There are little pockets of people from Guam," end quote, which they try to get together every year, just like Americans do for 4th of July. While Guam being 33 miles long and 8 miles wide, containing around 163,000 people, that's July 2003, says Anne Stokely of Salem Press Encyclopedia, you can imagine the island is pretty tight-knit, almost like a big family. Which is confirmed by Titus, quote, "You could know someone for a couple days and start calling them auntie or uncle," end quote. Although the people are very close, like Mr. Bogus said, it is very much a mix-up of different cultures. Quote, "About 40% of Guam's permanent inhabitants are Chamorro, and 25% are Filipino, with the remainder comprised of Caucasian, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, with the majority of them being Roman Catholic," which again affirms what Titus was saying about how 98% of the island is Catholic. And this is what Anne Stokely of Salem Press Encyclopedia says. This further affirms Titus's comment on a mix of American and Asian cultures. So in conclusion, it's very important that we understand the different perspective from the other cultures so that it gives us a better look on life and more variety too. And it keeps life interesting as well, because living the same life in the same normal setting is just plain boring. I'm very grateful that I got this experience to have a look in on the life of someone like Titus, someone who spent all that time over in Guam, and just to see how kind of some of the experience shaped his life that is now today, and how he works with ministries, and this dates all the way back to how his father was a pastor. So to see him kind of grow into the ministry setting is a really interesting aspect of it. Thank you guys, and I really appreciate you giving me your time today.